Hey everyone, behind me is the brand new 2024 X1 20i M Sport, and I'm going to review it. In this review, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the exterior of the car, then we're going to have a look at the interior of the car, and then I'm going to talk about what the car is like on the road. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to this channel by pressing the subscribe button below. Having a look at the X1 from the outside, I really like the styling of it. They've done a great job, I think. I've seen a few of these on the road, and when I had to do a double take, because I thought it was an X3, first of all, they've facelifted an X3, because it's actually a lot bigger, more road presence. You can see the traditional BMW big grille there, and the radiator behind it there. And then you've got these LED lights here. I really like the bonnet here. The lines on the bonnet comes up, makes it look a lot more sporty and aggressive at the front. If we take you around the side, this one's got 19-inch wheels on it. I personally would prefer the 20-inch optional wheels. I think these 19-inch wheels look a bit small on it. And then the rubber on these is 245 wide and 45 profile. You've got these new door handles. I look at them and I kind of think, oh, they might pop out like a Range Rover Vela, but no, they don't. You've got your M badging on the side, and you'll notice everything's sort of colored coded to the car. So you've got the black roof rails there, which I think help make it look a lot more sporty and classy. If we have a look around the rear of the car, I really like the rear of the car here. Those lights look really sharp and make it look nice and modern. You've got this rear diffuser which helps with that sporty look down there. No real exhaust there, they're all hidden behind the bar. There's just one actually, you might be able to see in the video underneath the car if you look closely. And then you've got a bit of a rear wing, and then you've got an upgraded aerial there which sort of looks like it's been chopped off. It's less of a shark fin. The interior of the BMW, well, it looks nice and new as you get in here. You can see it's all modern and up to date with new technologies and looking a bit different than some of the previous BMWs. So the first thing that stands out to me is this big infotainment virtual cockpit cluster they've got here. They've come more in line with the Audis and Mercedes, and you've got the 10.75 inch infotainment system where you can do a lot of stuff in there. You can see, don't know if it shows there on the video, but it's quite nice clarity there. And then you've got a 10.25 inch virtual cockpit. It has an array of different options to show, probably not as much as you would get on, say, an Audi. Then you come down here and you've got interesting wireless charging and a bit of a holder there. It's sort of upwards rather than lying it on the ground there, but it will allow you to fit in some large phones for those that have a large smartphone. 2 cup holders, a new sort of cluster here of buttons, and a different sort of style gear stick there. I still prefer the traditional gear stick. When getting in here, I actually found it hard to find the start stop button. It's actually this button here, but you see it's like very nicely integrated there, but you kind of, it can be hidden as well. You've got the parking brake there, which I also found a bit hard to find, and there's no iDrive control anymore. It's all touch screen there for the infotainment system. The center console here is kind of just about disappeared, so they've got this little storage area here, but all the main storage is down there. So they obviously decided you don't need to sort of hide whatever you want to put in there. You've got 2 micro USB sockets that you can use if you need them. The seats on this, they're quite nice. They really tuck you in, really sporty seats. It's synthetic leather, feels quality. I like the pattern on there. The materials that they've used around the cabin, it's sort of a mix of nice material and then there's some cheap material. So you've got this nice sort of leather feeling dashboard here, but then you've got some cheap plastic for the speaker covers there. I don't like the look of it. It doesn't feel nice at all. And they've got it here on the sides there, but then you've got the nice leather here. The handles are reasonably nice to touch there. So it's kind of a mix of nice materials and not so nice materials. I don't mind here on the dashboard. It sort of breaks up the dashboard there. Nice sort of gives it a bit of a two-tone of color. So the steering wheel here, it's a nice size steering wheel. It's nice and thick. It has a nice feel to it there. What I did notice just behind the steering wheel is those paddle shifts there look really cheap. It's like they've just put a sticker up where you see the minus and the plus sign there, and it just takes away from the premium feel of the car. So I'm not sure what BMW were thinking there, putting some cheap stickers there. They could have definitely done a better of a job. Design of the wheel's nice. You've got these little indents there where you can see straight through the wheel on each side, and then some nice little elements to the design here down the bottom of the steering wheel. It's got electric seats down here, you can see, so you can control the electric seats. All right, let's take you around in the rear of the car. So in the rear of the X1 here, it looks like a reasonable amount of space. They've got some ISOFIX in here if you've got kids. An interesting belt there. I don't know what that is for the middle seat. I don't know if that's a spare ISOFIX or something else there. Maybe those who know can tell me in the comments below. And we'll hop in here just to see the exact leg room we got here. And yeah, it's not bad. That seat's 3/4 of the way back, and I've still got a reasonable amount of leg room for a small SUV. That's sort of more than enough here. You've got the 2 air conditioning ducts in the back, and you've got 2 micro USB ports. You've got some further storage if you want to put anything there, maybe your feet if you're sitting in the middle seat. And then this drivetrain doesn't come up too much, so it's not compromising that middle seat if you decided to have someone sitting in there. The seats in here, they're nice, that synthetic leather again. In the back here, they look really nice. The headroom in the car's very good. You've got a good amount of headroom here. I'm just under 6 foot and I'm not near touching the top. And then you've got these 2 cup holders as is expected in the back here if you're not using that middle seat. So all in all, not a bad place to be. So the boot space here, it's an impressive 540 litres in there. It looks big, but it doesn't quite look as big as, say, my Audi SQ5, which is also 540 litres. But I'm really impressed they've been able to get that much boot space in here in the little X1, because it's very similar to the boot space of, say, an X3, which is 550 litres. That's probably where a lot of the space is, actually where that spare tyre would be. So that, I'm sure they're including that in the 540 litres. So no spare tyre in here because I have run flat tyres. But that's probably where a lot of it is there. But it's a really good amount of space because it's probably one of the highest in its class. Actually, you've got some storage pockets there. A 12-volt socket if you need to charge anything in the back there. And some more storage here. So that's the rear of the boot. You've got an automatic close here, so let's press it and it will close it itself. All right, let's find out what the car's like to drive. So what's the X1 like to drive? Well, normally I'd be driving the car while telling you what it's like to drive, but I don't have a cameraman, so I'm just going to talk about what it has been like to drive. So first things first, when hopping in the car, as I mentioned when I was talking about the interior, it took me a while to get used to this sort of new cabin layout. It's not your traditional normal BMW, so it took me a while to figure out the start stop button, where the parking brake and things were. But obviously once you get an understanding of the car, those sort of problems are going to go away. Then jumping in the car, driving it, what I first found was it wasn't as smooth as I thought it would be. So it's on smooth roads like highways, it's nice and smooth, but as soon as you get a pothole or a speed hump, you will feel it in this. It won't just glide across those speed humps or across those potholes. Not the smoothest suspension, not a deal breaker, but just not super smooth. Handling's really good in this car. It sits really flat. It's a small SUV, so you'd expect it to be reasonably good, and it's a sporty SUV. This 20i has the adaptive suspension in it, so that obviously helps with the handling going around corners. And you've got 3 driving modes in this. So you've got a My Mode button, which sits around the area, the instrument area there where the little gear stick is. And the modes are personalization, sports, and eco. I found it a bit confusing again, first of all, to actually get myself in the sport, because it's not by pressing the button, it shows the display, but there's no button to get into sport. You've got to touch the infotainment system to get into the sports mode there. Something that you often just thought you could do by like a button or something like that's now all controlled in the infotainment system. And that's other things like the climate control and air conditionings, or sort of controlled in that infotainment system there. There's no actual buttons there, so they sort of simplified the cabin, as you would have seen when I took you around it. The speakers in this car aren't the greatest. I've This is just a standard system in here. You can get the Harman Kardon, but that basic system for a European car I thought could be a bit better. So I was a bit disappointed with the stereo system there. So if that is important, I'd think about upgrading to the Harman Kardon system. The power in this car, well, it's got a 150 kilowatt engine and a 300 newton meters of torque, and it does 0 to 100 in about 7.4 seconds. It feels like it's enough power. It certainly doesn't feel massively powerful. So if you're looking for a powerful car, something that sort of gives you a bit of a seat of your pants feel, this is not the car for you. It's more than enough power for everyday driving. It's just not super powerful. And the fuel consumption on this, so BMW say it's a combined 7.4 liters to 100 kilometers, which I think it's average, it's standard. You know, these days you've got a lot of the smaller cars in the 6s and 5s, so it could be a bit better in my opinion there. The brakes on this also I found felt a bit soft, so when you go to hit the brake, you feel that you actually got to press that brake pedal down a bit further to really get it to bite. But again, not a biggie, just something that I noticed. I also noticed the steering on this felt a bit light at times, and they can make it a tiny bit heavier there to give it a bit more of a sort of driver's feel there. Feel you got more input with the steering wheel as the driver there. This gearbox is a 7-speed dual clutch gearbox, smooth gearbox, no issues with it. Cabin noise, there's a bit of cabin noise on the highway. You can still feel a bit of wind noise, but it still does feel like a quality premium car when you're driving it around town. Technology in this car, well, it's great that they've actually decided to give you all this really standard technology for free without having to hit the option boxes, because the Europeans often make you tick all these option boxes just to get the standard stuff that's in the Asian type cars. So it's good that they've simplified that. So pretty much anything that you need, you've got your lane assist, you've got your vegetation alerts, you've got your rear front parking camera, 360 degrees camera, you've got your adaptive cruise control, automatic high beam. So pretty much anything you need, this has got. So I know, what do I think about it? Look, I do like it. It's a very nice looking car. Like, I love the look and feel of it. Driving it, it's a nice car to drive. It's got a few of its limitations performance wise. You'd probably want a bit of improvement on. But if it's not a super performance car that you're after, then you be happy with this. It's definitely modern and new looking. Anyway, thanks for watching the review today. Hope you liked it. And if you did, please give this channel a subscription.